Hello, in today's video, I want to explain kind of the antidote or a potential antidote to depression. Antidote to depression. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, they're going to say depression is a neurochemical imbalance. Life sucks, I suck, the circumstances sucks, this sucks, I'm uncurable, therapy is a joke, shrinks or pocket picking, da-da-da-da. Like, you can go on and on and on about why your depression is uncurable and why there's no hope, and you can argue till you're blue in the face of why it's never going to get better. But you're arguing against yourself. So if you have some hope and you want to give yourself, 5 to 10 minutes, however long this video is, of maybe some way of feeling better and seeing things more objectively even, as we'll get into this video, then you'll do yourself a service. And if you don't like it, then thumbs down the video and, you can be right about having an incurable depression. All right, so let's get right into it. With that going, with getting right into that. So, when we have depression, right? What is the main reason? Why does the therapy not work? Why does this not work? Why does the therapy, the exercise, I'm doing all the right things or I'm not doing all the right things? Why am I still depressed? Why does none of this shit work? Why does life still suck? Da 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 da. And it's essentially because to cure depression, in Western psychology, they talk a lot about like cognitive behavioral therapy. They talk a lot about this. They talk a lot about analyzing and empathizing and, connecting your feelings, decompressing, all this stuff, right? But really, in the yogic system or even in meditative traditions, they have something that is kind of almost a greater antidote. And you can, remove it from any philosophy or tradition if that doesn't serve you. And you can just look at it from a lens of perception. So, and I'm not here to give you some fanciful quote that'll, the glass is half full and not half empty. No. Perception. Okay? So, when we are depressed, there's usually like negative filtering, and there's usually moments where you're going to assume or you're going to say, life sucks. You're going to generalize, and you're going to be like, life sucks. The world sucks. Right? So, how is perception linked to that? Because, Charles, I've told myself a million times in my head that, the glass is half full. I got to think positively. That's not what we're doing. We're not doing that. We're not going to think positively or negatively. We're going to see things how they are, and things will go better. Okay, so, let's start off with a couple analogies, and then or a couple examples, and then we'll get into why do we want to see things clearly. So first, imagine this is your cup, all right? And this is your cup. And someone asks you in this age-old analogy, half empty or half full? Half full or half empty? Right? Now, what they really should be saying is take the cup, for example. Or if I pick up this hairbrush, right? We'll use a physical example. Now, what is this? Well, if I feel it, it's pokey. It's kind of hard at this point. These points are kind of move a little bit. This feels smooth. It feels like it feels smooth. It feels kind of glossy. Brushes hair, apparently. Okay, so that's what it is. That's what I see. That's what I experience. That's the materiality of it, is that this is kind of hard. It's kind of pokey. It's kind of, it's less than a pound probably. And so that's what's in the object. Now, if I say this is a messy hairbrush, this is a gross, this is a cool hairbrush, this is a bad hairbrush, this is where is that coming from? Because if we just look at the object, if we're seeing things clearly, right, or in the analogy of the half full, half empty cup, and we feel a cup. I'll grab a cup just for analogy. Okay, we feel this cup. It's kind of cold. It's hard. It doesn't bend. It's kind of smooth. It maybe weighs maybe a pound, maybe a little more or less depending on the water. Okay, and so that is what is in the cup. That is what the cup attributes. That is actually what's there. Now, if I say this is a dirty cup, this is my favorite cup, this is a good cup, this is a bad cup, this is a, this is the best cup, this is the worst cup, this is, all those things, where is that coming from? That is coming from in here. So, the half full, half, empty perception is partially true. But what we really want to look at is what is in here, the mentality, and what is the materiality. What is the objective nature of the things around us? And then internally, what am I producing or thinking, in other words? And now for a good analogy, right? Or this will be a great example. Okay, now this little experiment, because hopefully this has piqued some curiosity in you. Now I want you to go through your camera roll. Wow, why would I go through my camera roll, Charles? Well, because if you go through your camera roll and you see a photo, right? And now, what happens when you see a photo? You're going to think, oh, I look so ugly in that photo. Oh, I look so dumb. I look kind of cool in this. Those were happy moments. Those were better times. See, now what is actually on the screen? What is actually on my screen? It is pixels. It kind of feels glass, right? The positive feelings or the negative feelings of judgment towards the photo and yourself, presumably. Where is that coming from? That's internal. Internal. Right now, we're just doing a seeing exercise, just perception. The perception, the objective, right, external perception, is there's a piece of glass and plastic with little colors and pixels. It feels kind of smooth. It's about 5 or 6 inches, right? That's objectively what is happening. Internally, you are, you are feeling good, you're feeling bad, you're passing judgment, so that's an internal thing. So now that we see that when we look at a photo, right, the joy and happiness, or joy or sorrow / judgment, right, the joy or sorrow, where is that found? That is found within us. So now if we see from looking at both the materiality or the objective, right? If we look at the objective and we do it honestly, and we look at the internal, right? We see, okay, most of my joys and sorrows, when I see a photo, when I see my cup, where are they? They're coming from within me. Now, this isn't to invalidate your feelings or say, what you think is wrong or anything like that. But next time, right, just as for those who are experiencing depression, who are going through difficult times, and who are experiencing great strain, next time you have those moments, ask yourself and then truthfully examine what is objectively there in the situation and what is within me. And if it's something within me, right, then what do I need to change about it? Or what do I need to accept with it? Or what about, is it true? Is there empirical evidence for it? Is it factual, right? So, because if we realize that the thing about perception, that, right, the reason the depression and all the therapy treatments and all this stuff is not working is because you are not changing your perception. You're still thinking life sucks. This sucks. This is so much effort, right? Where are those things arising? Those are arising within you. This sucks is right now I'm touching I'm touching my phone. What sucks about the phone? Where is the sucking coming from the phone? You see how absurd that sounds? I know it sounds kind of comical, honestly. But where is the sucking coming from this phone? If you say phones suck, where is that? Is it in the phone? Can I find this place like in the phone that says suck? No. That is in you. That is your perception of the phone. And so if we can make that distinction, we can realize, okay, well then what perceptions, right, lead to joy, lead to happiness, lead to, joy, lead to, community flourishing. We'll just type this one out. It's a bit longer. Lead to community flourishing, right? Positive interpersonal relationships. What leads to positive relationships? And then which ones don't? Because you don't need to kid yourself and lie to yourself if you're depressed. You don't need to puff yourself up with statements of life is so, so good and I need to be so, so grateful or cup half full. You don't need to do that. You just need to see clearly. Because if you see clearly, you can see what is there, what is within you, what things within you lead to greater joy, and what things within you lead to greater suffering. What ways of acting lead to greater suffering, and what ways of behaving lead to greater joy. You get to see clearly. And so the real way to cure your depression is to not force yourself to fake being happy. It is just to see the things within you that cause unhappiness and to see the things within you that cause happiness and the things around you that cause happiness and the things around you that cause misery, and make those, and make choices around those. It's those who are depressed, you guys already go through enough. You don't have to lie to yourself. You just have to contributing what parts of my mind and heart lead to the unhappy and what parts of my mind and heart lead to the happy moments. Do yourself that service and don't make things up. Just see which perceptions serve you and which ones don't. And so my final thing, right, is just I want to do a little prayer for any of those that are depressed, because I know it can be extremely difficult. And none of this was meant to be an attack. This is meant honestly to be a solution, and a solution coming from truth, coming from honestly and clearly seeing things as they are. What mentality or what things within me cause my joy and cause my happiness or suffering, and what things around me are causing my joy, my misery, or my suffering, or just are. And so from truth, I think as long as we come from that standpoint, then we can start slowly moving towards an honest happiness, an honest freedom from depression, and not something that is forced or contrived. So, if you are religious Or if you're not, you can either click off this video, or you can, just enjoy the kind words if you're not. But if you are, bow your head, get comfy. And so, dear God, I pray for all those watching. I pray for those who all do not watch. And God, I pray that of clarity, that of honesty, and of sincerity, God, that the people watching this video can see clearly in their own lives what is within them and what is outside of them. What circumstances outside of them lead to joy, lead to suffering, and what things and perceptions within them that lead to joy and that lead to suffering. And God, I pray that with right discernment that you give us, with right wisdom, we can cultivate the causes of well-being for ourselves and others, and we can decrease the circumstances and conditions both within ourselves and outside of ourselves of suffering. So we can all be happier, we can all be freer from suffering, and we can all live in joy. It is in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the video.